Hello, welcome to the FMPod cast or whatever it is. I haven't done this for almost no, it's been over 11 months. It's almost been a year. Um, and I decided, you know what, let's return to the podcast. If this is the final episode, who cares? I do have a somewhat weird tradition of doing 2 podcast episodes a year, so maybe I'll do another one sometime in December or later this month, but it's unlikely. um, I thought, seems as I am very close to going to university. I'm in the process of applying to universities. So I thought, what better thing to talk about on the podcast than school? School's kind of crazy when you think about it, because I've been going to school for most of my life. If I do the calculations, I'm currently 17. I've been going since I was, 4 years old? I've been going to school for 13 years of my life. That's way over half. I'm gonna be so happy when I get to the point in my life when I've surpassed school taking up half of my life. But I will also be in work, so maybe not as happy as I hope. So you start off at nursery. I don't really remember much of nursery. I know it lasted 2 years. I could probably somehow find a photo of me at that age. Look, here's me. Here's some visuals for the podcast. But you don't really do anything at nursery. You're friends with literally everyone there, and you go to play dates and stuff like that. You don't really have best friends, I don't think. I mean, not that I remember. And then once you get to primary school, that all kind of changes. You have reception at primary school. Oh, this is British, by the way, for any non-British people watching. You got kindergarten and middle school. We don't have that here. This is you got nursery, primary school, secondary school, and then sixth form. But primary school is I think when it's reception to year 6, so you start when you're 4 unless your birthday is on the 1st of September, in which you start when you're 5. So you start when you're 4 years old, and then you end primary school when you're 11. I want to say 11. I think 11. You make friends. That's where I got my group of friends at primary school, and that's where I met Alex. For anyone who watches the main channel, Alex, I've known him for I don't know, many years of my life. A lot, many 13. I've already calculated it. It's 13. 6 age 11. There you go. It is 11. But yeah, that's kind of when you start to develop something. I'll throw a picture of me when I was in primary school up on screen. It's when you start to develop, and it's when you start to become a human. When you gain consciousness, I guess. Because before that, you kind of just you're doing everything your parents tell you to do, and that's it. I mean, at that point, you're still probably doing that. I remember specifically losing my first friend. Not they didn't die or anything. At least I don't think they're dead. But I remember it was in just after year 3. And for the sake of this video, I'm gonna call them Steve. I mean, it doesn't really matter if I do say their real name, but Steve, let's say. Steve is one of my good friends up until year 3. Me, Steve, and Jeffrey. Good friends. We're with a trio. We're pretty epic. At this point, I wasn't completely friends with Alex. I knew who he was. He was in my class, and we must have talked at least once, but I wasn't really friends with him until year 5 or something. But yeah, me, Steve, and Jeffrey, we were pretty much inseparable. I remember playing like Angry Birds in real life on the playground where we pretended we were the birds and we shot ourselves at the pigs. It was that was a fun game we used to play. Um, but yeah, then at the end of year three, Steve left, and I was so sad. I remember being really sad, and then for quite a bit of year four, it was just me and Jeffrey in the playground playing Angry Birds in real life. Um, I mean, sure, I had other friends. At that point, I was friends with Sithtron. Anyone know Sithtron? Crazy. Um, and at that point, I didn't feel lonely. If I only had one friend at my current state, I would feel like no one cares about me. I'm so lonely, but I don't. I'm quite lucky to have like quite a few friends. So, and yeah, it was. I didn't really feel anything. I didn't think this was a bad thing. It was just me and Jeffrey. In year five or so, I think year five, that's when I met a few new friends, and that's then we played like Pokemon in real life on the playground. I upgraded from Angry Birds. I'd never played Pokemon. The only time I actually played Pokemon is when I went round to their house for the first time. And I remember playing. I think it was X and Y on their DS. At that point, I had quite a few friends. At that point, like I was friends with Alex. But then, you have to move on. At the end of year six, you've got to go to secondary school. I knew which secondary school I was going to, and quite a few of my friends were going, except for my best friend Jeffrey, which was really sad. So I that was the first time I actually felt lonely for a bit. That's because I lost my best friend, but we had this after school club that we went to anyway. So overall, it was pretty good. But secondary school is scary. I know there's no one in primary school watching this video, but secondary school is the jump from primary school to secondary school. Once you're like surrounded by all of these like large children who are just like, oh goddamn year sevens coming in and like being all small and year sevens are unnecessarily hated, but you gotta hate year sevens because it's cool to dislike year sevens because they're small and annoying. Yeah, so year seven, I had my little friend group. We were all in the same form, which was great. Um, and that meant we had like a lot of lessons together. So I kept most of my friends apart from Jeffrey. And at that point, I was walking to school with Alex now. And then one day in year eight, Alex started walking to school with this weird guy called Charlie. Who I was like, who is this guy? What's he doing? He's all ginger and everything. Ugh. But and then that's when I started being friends with the other mainstay on my YouTube channel, Mr. Charlie. And that's how I don't really have any friends outside of school. That's what I'm kind of hoping to gain when I leave education. I'm going to university next year, and I will be there for 3, maybe 4 years if I take a possible year off in the course. But yeah, but that's beside the point. We're still at secondary school level. And year 7, year 8, year 9 are all pretty. Oh, hang on, no. I was a pretty good student for year 7. I never got any detentions. I was a good boy. I did all my homework until year 8. I know, crazy. I mean, you take one look at me and you can like realize I'm somewhat of a nerd. I've been called a nerd by many people. But yeah, and then in year 8, I wore the wrong shoes to school. I accidentally put on my trainers in a fit of getting out the door quickly, and I wore my trainers to school instead of my shoes, my regular school shoes, and then I got a detention, which was an experience. I felt like so out of place. I was like, what am I doing here? Oh God, oh no, I can't have a detention. But it was fine. Realistically, I don't really care about it now. I mean, if I did care about it at this point in my life, then that would be a bit sad. But I then, yeah, and I was a cool kid. I'm the kind of guy to get detentions. All right, don't mess with me. I didn't become cool. I was still quite. I was still like a bit of a nerd, but yeah. Then after year 9, or no, sorry, after year 8, then that's when you pick your GCSEs. I know most schools around the UK don't really do that kind of stuff, but my secondary school did. So I did my GCSE subject 1 year early in year 9, and I picked media because, I was making these little short films in my spare time, and I was like, okay, why not pick media? That's probably got something to do with making short films. And it did, and I got to do an actual lesson where I enjoyed literally everything that I did, and it was great. I also picked geography because I had to pick like history or geography, or like you were kind of pressured into by the school, and they were like, you got to pick this or that, and it's like, all right, I'll just pick geography because history is boring. It's already happened. Not to bash on history. History is like okay, but it's just like I would never have picked it. Even now, I would pick geography over history. And then, I did my GCSEs. And in year 10, something wacky happened. People started coughing, and I was like, what's going on? Why are there so many coughs everywhere? And then coronavirus happened, and we were inside. I missed school for a solid 5 months, I think. Well, I mean, technically not 5 months. Oh no, it was 5 months. Yes, it was 5 months off school. And if someone tells you that they did every single bit of work that was done during COVID, they are lying to you. Even the good students sometimes missed work because realistically it doesn't matter, but it did matter, and I kind of regret not, taking it as seriously as I should have, because it ended up getting me like pretty like naff GCSE grades. But that's beside the point, because next year was year 11. That's when I did my actual GCSEs, and because of coronavirus, I got an easier GCSE than I would have done. It was still pretty difficult, and I still, I was a good boy, and I revised. But GCSEs, despite it being like easy, I think I didn't have to read A Christmas Carol for English. And that was great. I wasn't really looking forward to A Christmas Carol, so when they took it off, I was like, yes, get in. And oh yes, for year 11, I had finished my media and geography GCSE at the end of year 10. So for year 11, I decided to do product design, or design and technology, and I just did that for a year. That was kind of like my off subject. I was like, yeah, I was whatever, because it gave me a chance to, get away from the rest of my GCSEs. And once I was done with that, I got the grades I needed to go to sixth form, and I'm now in sixth form doing my A-level in chemistry and my BTEC media in media. And that will be done by the end of this year, and then next year is university. Christ. Ugh. Kinda crazy. Kinda scary. It's fine. I'm pretty happy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to move forward to university. I already know what university I want to go to, and if I don't get into that one, I've got like 3 backups, so we're good. And I am excited. I'm really excited to go to university, but also terrified. Like with most things, when you're excited, you are also somewhat terrified. But yeah, that was my school experience, really. All of the lessons, all of my friends. That's yeah. The return of FMPod is happening, despite it being like one episode in 1 year. Episode 4. No, this is episode 5. Oh my god, how many? That's crazy that we're going so fast. When was this? When did I upload the first episode? It was August 2020. Man, that's crazy that I've done 5 episodes in the past 2 years. Ugh, I'm so consistent. But if you for whatever reason only subscribe to this channel and not my main channel, what are you doing? Go subscribe to my main channel. I've got like tube content on there, or you could subscribe to my second channel, and make it have even more subscribers than my main channel. It's currently like 30 subscribers over, maybe more than 30 subscribers over my main channel, which is kind of embarrassing because I uploaded one video that I thought wasn't going to do that great on my second channel, but now it has like 30,000 views, and I just have to deal with that. So apart from that, thanks for listening to my podcast episode, and I will see you whenever I can be bothered to record another one of these. Bye bye.